This is how I'm training for the world's heaviest ultra marathon and one of the biggest CrossFit comps in the country, Southern California, Wadapalooza.
Been a while out for the weekend. Me, myself, and my friends. Tell her go get in leaf in. ASAP finna sneak in. Finger to the critics. Me and my.
To do this, we have to break it down in two elements. We have our endurance training and we have our CrossFit training. So when we're looking at the total week, how are we breaking up those sessions to do both efficiently and effectively? I have it broken down into 6 days of training. 3 days are CrossFit, 3 days have an endurance focus. That being said, they do tend to blend on select days so that we're resting certain muscle groups at the same time. So here is my full day of training. Now, is doing both a good idea? Not really. So, unfortunately, both these events I do care about. We have the world's heaviest ultra, which is the biggest event of my year. And then two, we have the individual Southern California Wadapalooza, which is my biggest CrossFit comp of the year. One is in September, one is in November. So the training is laying out over the top. We're not thinking we're a hybrid athlete here. We know that the CrossFit and the training behind it is helping me get to the endurance side. It's about being well-rounded so that I can succeed in both elements. I'm not going out here to win Wadapalooza, but I am going out there to show up and show out. 3 heavy days of strength. So working on snatch, clean and jerk, and then heavy pulling / back squats. 4 endurance sessions of the week. 2 are pulling, 2 are monostructural. So they're running, or I'm also tossing a lot of swimming in since the low impact. Now, I only really have 2 CrossFit Metcons a week. Both of those are, yes, traditional CrossFit and traditional competition style workouts. Everything else is strictly aerobic based and working on my conditioning to get as fit as possible, or yeah, maybe I'm not moving that barbell as fast or moving through it, but my heart rate is not gonna be a problem at the end of the day. I can't train 5 days a week of 3 Metcons a day right now, which is what you would typically see going into a big CrossFit comp. When you have 2 of these massive goals that are so different from each other, you have to be intentional with your training. You can't just do more. You can't throw everything on top of it because something is gonna suffer. So each day, I have a specific focus. So for me right now, Mondays are a CrossFit focused day. My goal is to put all my energy into CrossFit. Yeah, we're gonna hit some maybe accessories and PT work for the strength in the truck pull, but our focus is giving the best output I can in the Metcons. Tuesdays, exact opposite. We're pulling in the morning. Our focus for that day on Tuesday is getting our endurance up, our time on our feet, and getting ready to pull that truck for 31 miles. Wednesday, we're back over to CrossFit, switching it up. Goal is high intensity, so forth. Thursdays, pulling. Friday, CrossFit. Saturday, we are working on pulling, but more as a strength element. Yeah, we might still be actually pulling a sled some days, but more of focusing on keeping the body healthy since I do work that night before. If you're gonna be going out and doing this, we need to train smarter, not just harder. So, Garmin, Whoop, been using both, and 8 Sleep to track my recovery. I'm kind of laughing at Garmin because I think my recovery hours are at like 90 plus right now. But we know on the weekend that the less stress and the less volume is definitely gonna help with it. But split days. I'm having a morning session and an afternoon session, and there's a big gap in between where I'm making sure I'm fueling myself and hydrating, getting ready to go into that afternoon session. So I'm not just going out there and doing one 8-hour long session, hoping that that's where the improvement. There's rest and recovery time between each session so that I'm focusing on certain things. If I'm focusing on cardio in the morning, I want a big gap before my afternoon session if I'm doing strength. I want my body to know what we need to recover so that we can make the adaptations necessary. Rule of thumb for me is at least 2 to 3 hours between training sessions if I'm switching modalities. The other thing to be aware with this, I'm not gonna hit PRs. I am beating my body at both ends and know that PRs aren't gonna come from this. That being said, how can we create that performance? I'm not doing a long run into a Metcon and hoping that my Metcon goes great. I know that whatever comes first is the priority, and that's what we want to focus on. Just because we're being a hybrid athlete doesn't mean we're being reckless and going out for a 10-mile run and then trying to hit a 500-pound back squat or a 400-pound deadlift on the same day. No, we're training each modality separately, and yes, intermingling the two. So this is a very big CrossFit heavy day. But now when we look at the endurance for what I did the day after, 2-hour sled pull, which is strictly endurance, and then an hour and a half zone 2. That is all endurance. All endurance focus on that second day. We're not going into the gym and being like, oh, I'm gonna go PR my Fran time. No, we have to have a split distinction if we are gonna be efficient at training for both. The answer is not more is better. The answer about smart training is better. The more smart training we can do, the better we can. We're not just doing the class workout because it looks fun. Stick to your program, listen to your paces, do it. You need to have a game plan if you are going to be doing, say, an Ironman or a marathon and also training for CrossFit at the same time. You can't just throw in run training on top of all your CrossFit training and hope that you're not going to get injured or you're not going to get burnt out. You need to set a clear distinction. You have your one point here and you have your other point here. And if we're going to be doing both in the same year, you need to have a distinction of this is my focus right now for these 8 weeks. I'm going to get better at running. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to put CrossFit to the front and then running to the back. So you're kind of moving those lanes. For me right now, my number one priority is getting ready for SoCal Wodapalooza. That doesn't mean I can't do my sled pull training because that's in November, but Wodapalooza's first. We're going into an 8-week block right now, competing. And then all of that's dropping off the back and we're fully focused on the truck pull training.